And welcome back to the Film Reel Cast. It's episode 2 of WandaVision. Okay, if you watched the first one, you'd have seen that I was quite disappointed with what they gave us. And it goes back to the 1950s kind of, structure with the I Dream of Jeannie, kind of slapstick situational comedy, which I really struggled with. And I found it quite laborious to watch. The jokes were predictable. It just wasn't funny. And that's despite, and probably added to my annoyance, that they've got the live studio audience there who are laughing at these crummy jokes. And I know that is part of it, and that's what it's meant to be.
No reason to be... No!
You were saying?
And it's meant to add to the nostalgia of the 1950s kind of genre of these slapstick comedies. So this one we see a bit more character development from Wanda and Vision. We meet more people, we're introduced to more characters, and this one's based loosely around the fact that there's a magic show, a talent contest in the town, and that they're going to take part of it. And taking part in it will obviously show their kind of human side, that they're willing to join in, they're kind of sociable people, and they'll interact with other people. And it's the situations they find themselves in throughout this episode. And I have to say, I am going to start off with a moan. It opens up with them both in separate beds together, the wind's blowing outside, and again it leads to a lot of unfunny jokes. I'm finding Paul Bettany very laborious when he's making these jokes. I don't know whether it's him, he is a good actor, he's done some good films, but it's just not working for me at the moment. I wish they'd concentrate on kind of speeding the story up of actually what's going to happen, a bit more teasers. I'd rather have the teasers as in different voices or kind of Easter eggs laying around for us to kind of try and work out than the jokes that we're getting at the moment that just aren't working for me. So Wanda hears a noise and she goes outside, and interestingly enough, in the hedge in the front of her house by the lovely picket fence is a helicopter. What's interesting about this is that it's in colour, which makes me believe or suspect that it's been put in there by someone through the outside world. And that the logo, I could be wrong, is a sword logo. It's very small. I could be looking for things that aren't there, but I think the logo on the front of the helicopter could be a sword logo put in there, again, to pull her out of that universe that she's created. So Wanda and Agnes go over to Dottie's house, and they go there to discuss the talent show that they're going to be involved in. And we're also introduced to Monica Rambeau. And Monica Rambeau, if you remember, is a child in Captain Marvel. So again, we're getting that tie-ins with the MCU, which is great. And it's a very social, awkward moment for Wanda because of mixing with other people. She feels she's not dressed right and she doesn't really know what to say. And it all kind of plays along as you'd expect. There's not much happens until the radio starts talking and calling out to her. Just look at what happens.
I've heard things about you. Well, I don't know what you have been told. But I assure you, I don't mean anyone any harm. Who is that? Who are you?
Wanda. Who's doing this to you, Wanda? Wanda. What?
And I find it really interesting. I don't know what it means yet, but the cut on her hands is in colour and everything else remains in black and white. Whether this wasn't because the call out was from someone who's outside of the world that she's created, and that's why the blood is in colour, and that they're trying to pull her out of that world, I honestly don't know. But it ties into earlier moments as we spoke about with the helicopter. And Vision himself has his own awkward moment when he goes to meet a bunch of guys who are having like a committee of their own. And they find him very quirky, they find him funny because of his ways, and his ways are just being very awkward because he's not very socially inept at having a conversation with lots of people. And again, he swallows some chewing gum. He's given some he doesn't eat, remember, and it gets stuck, and they show it in his kind of black and white diagram, which again, I quite like. It's very 50s, of chewing gum going down and getting stuck in his cogs, which means he can't function properly, which plays into the magic show. And he's lifting himself up in the air. He's kind of breaking the rules, and Wanda is constantly covering for him, which adds to the kind of comedy that that is meant to be there, such as the piano, such as flying. And then he brings on the magic box, and you've got Monica, who ends up inside the box that Wanda was obviously meant to be in. She doesn't know how she got there, but the audience are lapping it up, and for me it goes on a bit too long. I find Paul Bettany a bit annoying, and it just doesn't work for me. I like Wanda covering for him, I think that works well, but it just went on maybe a couple of minutes too long. But it does go on, and they do win, and everything works out really well. And interestingly, when they do get back, they're cuddling and saying that they've fitted in with everyone, which is what they wanted to do. And when they look down, that Wanda is actually pregnant.
Oh, I don't know what I was so worried about. It wasn't so hard to fit in after all.
And all we had to do was be ourselves.
Well, with a few modifications.
And it was all
For the children. Well, I think the children might need some popcorn.
Or Wanda.
What? Vision?
But if you remember, they are unable to have children. And in the comic books, I believe that they do have children which have been created by Wanda. And the kids they have is Tommy and Billy, and she has that using her powers. And when the powers are broken, they're wiped actually from existence. But these two children do reappear later as called Wiccan and Speed. Both of them are taking powers from Wanda and a twin brother, who's also, remember, known as Quicksilver. So the greatest mystery in this is that at the end of it, that there's a noise outside. They both go and have a look, and there's a figure that appears from a drain cover that's moving. And this figure appears to be wearing, as you can see, a beekeeper's outfit. And if you look on his back, again, I think that's going to be the sword kind of insignia that's inscribed on the guy's back, meaning that he's a sword agent. But seeing this, definitely Wanda is quite horrified and doesn't want to see this, whether there's someone who's on her side or not, but she rewinds back time, and when she does that, and they have the situation again inside the house of when they're cuddling, and everything turns back to colour. So it'll be interesting to fall out from this. I don't know what this means. If you do know what this means, then please let me know. But this one was better than the last one. It doesn't take much, but I enjoyed this episode a lot more. There was a lot more Easter eggs which I was wanting, which I was asking for in this episode to find out what's happening. The cut on the hand, the helicopter, and the guy coming from the drain. I don't know what they mean, or where it's going to take us in the next one, but at least this episode left me wanting more, whereas the last one I found it a bit laborious. Okay, so that's just a very quick look at Wanda episode 2. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you agree with me or don't agree with me. As I say, I'm not kind of the all-knowing aficionado of the MCU, like the comics and things like that. I haven't read them, so I don't know if this is going akin to what the comics say. But I'm just going on what I'm seeing at the moment, and I'm enjoying it, and I'll feedback what I say. Let me know if you don't agree. Before we go, as you can see from the sides there, I've got Cobra Kai, I've got The Mandalorian, I've got The Shield. Just click on those links and you can watch that or check out my playlists. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon.